Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Our presentation is called Do or Die. We'll report down conversion rate. My name is Chetan.
And I'm Dan.
So what we really wanted to explore is how important fourth down conversion is towards teams actually winning. And so there's a lot of reasons teams want to go for it on fourth down, including scoring more points, getting more yardage, and ultimately it can be the make or break for a team winning or losing the game. And so what we really wanted to investigate is, does a high fourth down conversion rate correlate to winning? This is a clip of one of our favorite fourth down conversions. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers. So the data we use is team rankings. So this is just a picture, that's the logo. This is a picture of the fourth down conversion rate for 2021 for all 32 teams.
And now's the actual graph. So what we did is we created a linear regression graph of, on the y-axis, we had the win percentage, and then on the x-axis, we had the conversion rate. And as you can see, we had a linear trend line. And as you can see, one being the highest for the slope, we measured the slope of it. It was at about a 0.75 or 0.76. So that's a pretty high correlation rate. So as you can see in 2020, it was pretty high.
Yeah. And basically, the closer that slope is to one, the stronger the correlation is, the stronger the impact that fourth down has towards winning. And so, as we see in 2021, it increases from what we had before. Now it's at 0.879. So this represents an even stronger correlation. But when we get to 2022, there's a big drop. So it goes all the way to 0.313. And so, while there is still correlation, it's a lot weaker this year. As we continue 2023, it starts to move back up. Now it's at 0.6 almost, and then 2024 at 0.868. So about what we had in the beginning. And then this graph here is showing each of those trend lines across those years. So you can see the big decline in 2022, and then it starts to move back up again. But the key takeaway from this is that the slope is inconsistent. So that's the strength of the correlation between the two is not consistent. And so what does this mean? Well, it means that measuring fourth down conversion rate is not going to be a consistent variable to determine if teams can win over time because of how much it varies per year. And it'll be interesting to see how this graph changes over the next 5 years. If it will continue to increase, if it's going to drop significantly again, time will tell. But there's a possible explanation for big shifts in this trend line. So what we were thinking is that coaching changes and play calling and rosters have a big impact.
Yeah, so a couple of kind of aggressive coaches who are known for their kind of aggressive play calling is obviously Dan Campbell, and especially with the Commanders just hiring Dan Quinn as their coach, we saw a significant increase in that for Washington this year. And another thing we kind of explored was another possible correlation to this is kind of roster changes. So this year, the Commanders drafted Jaden Daniels, who became kind of their franchise QB. He turned out to be kind of a superstar, won Rookie of the Year. And that kind of was part of the reason why we saw such a jump in the Commanders' win percentage and also kind of could have correlated to their fourth down conversion rate. And then we also saw the Eagles signing Saquon Barkley during free agency, which turned out to be very important and very good for the Eagles organization as they actually ended up winning the Super Bowl that year. He played a big reason to why they got there as well.
Yeah, just to add on to that, Washington was not even a playoff team prior to Dan Quinn coming in from Dallas. And so this just shows like how much of an impact the coach actually has, especially in play calling. Washington went for it the most of any team last year on fourth down and converted the most.
And as we can see with our data, this is only on their 5 seasons. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's going to turn out in the next even 5 to 10 years. And it would also be interesting to look at kind of like the earlier years to see how that correlated as well. But as you can see, if you go back to the trend, in 2020, like into 2021, it was slowly increasing, and then we see a sudden drop. But then as the years kind of go on, it slowly increases, and then it kind of gets to the same level as 2021. And from 2021 to 2022, there was a significant decrease. So I'm curious to see how that kind of pans out next year, and see if there's like a same sort of trend with this, or if it just keeps increasing.
Yes, well, and it also shows how some years the fourth down conversion matters a lot, and some years it doesn't, like in 2022. Thank you very much.